Hello, my name is Luis Melendez, and I have been assigned to speak over the Psalm 23rd. The Psalm 23rd is a psalm of David, who was actually a shepherd, the son of a shepherd. Later on, David became king of Israel, and he was known as Shepherd King. In this psalm, David speaks not as shepherd, but as a sheep, one of the flock. David uses metaphorical language to describe God as the shepherd, acknowledging that God is the one who provides everything he needs in life. This is a psalm of praise and trust. David praises God's loving and diligent care, and he also communicates trust by God's presence and supervision. In this psalm, David reveals truths that we can all apply to ourselves. As we read, we will notice satisfaction, rest, care, protection, confidence, comfort, grace, mercy, and assurance. Such things can only be expected from the Good Shepherd, which, according to John 10:11, is Jesus Christ himself. I'll be reading from the English Standard Version, Psalm 23rd. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Verse 1 through 4 deals with the metaphor of the Lord as shepherd. From verse 2 to 4, David explains the statement he made on verse 1. For instance, when David says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Why? Because he makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters, and so forth. On verse 5 and 6, well, traditional explanation will tell us that on verse 5, the metaphor changes. The Lord is no longer a shepherd. He is now a host, and David, the guest. So, according to this interpretation, verse 1 through 4 deals with the Lord is my shepherd, and verse 5 and 6, the Lord is my host. In light of this interpretation, the picture presented on verse 5 is that David is in a public banquet that God has prepared for him, in which David is being honored in the presence of his enemies. The host pours a scented oil on David's head, and he also keeps his cup full. This image fits well with the customs of that context. There is also another explanation which interprets the shepherd's metaphor throughout the psalm. This interpretation says that when David speaks of a table, he refers to a tableland, an isolated flat-topped mountain elevation or hill, where the richest pasture is there. In light of this other interpretation, the picture presented on verse 5 and 6 is that the shepherd is at the mountains with his sheep, David. And the shepherd goes in advance to this flat-topped mountain to prepare the tableland. And he pulls out poisonous weeds in the presence of wild animals, such as wolves, coyotes, and so forth. Then he pours oil on the sheep's head as a repellent against the flies. And after the journey, the shepherd returns home and brings his sheep into his fold. You decide. You decide which explanation fits better with the text. But what really is important is what you get when you read this psalm. How this reading blesses your understanding and your faith toward God. I would like to highlight a couple of things. First of all, this psalm communicates relationship. When David says, "The Lord is my shepherd," he refers to a relationship between him and the Lord. Throughout the psalm, David describes his personal relationship with God. They are together all the time. The shepherd leads and the sheep follows. The sheep is the target of the shepherd's love and care. You cannot miss to notice the deep relationship of friendship between David and the Lord described in this psalm. When we apply to ourselves this statement, "The Lord is my shepherd," we're saying, I know him and he knows me. He's not an stranger to me. He's my leader and he's my friend, my shepherd. The use of this possessive adjective shows possession or relationship. It does communicate a possession of relationship. He is mine and I am his. He is my shepherd and I am his sheep. Just as if we will say, he is my father and I am his son. Jesus had the same type of relationship with his father. He often referred to God as my father. And the Father spoke from heaven, saying, "This is my son." And Jesus wants us to acknowledge that we too have the same relationship with his Father. When Jesus was raised from the dead, he told Mary Magdalene, "Go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father, your Father, to my God, your God," according to John 20:17. Number two, this psalm communicates contentment and confidence. David says, "I shall not want." In other words, because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. David is in complete satisfaction because of the loving and diligent care of the Lord. How many of us can say, "I lack nothing"? Well, besides toilet paper, I lack nothing. I'm just kidding. But that might be true for someone during this pandemic time, isn't it? This is not a matter that we will never find ourselves needing something in life. We are talking about a mindset in which we can find contentment and confidence. Based on the knowledge of who God is, I can trust that He is capable to provide for my needs. Therefore, I will live content and I will have confidence that I shall not want. When we learn to be content under God's care, we can have everything in life or we can have nothing. But we can still say, "I shall not want," because I know He will take care of me. In Philippians 4:11 through 13, it says, "Not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. I can do all things through Him who gives me strength." Such a claim can be only made through the strength and the capacity of the Good Shepherd, Jesus Christ. Number three, this psalm communicates faithfulness. Throughout the psalm, the Lord never leaves David. He's always with him. David is telling us, the Lord will always be with you. Whatever you are in a good time or bad situation, the Lord is always with us. And it says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. See, this expression, the valley of the shadow of death, represents danger, trouble, and tragedy. Have you ever felt, oh, have you felt lately at jeopardy with this situation of the coronavirus? We all face tough times in our lives, isn't it? But you know what? The good thing is that we're not alone. The Lord is with us. This is the conviction we ought to embrace, that no matter if I am in the darkest hour of my life, I will fear not, because my friend, my shepherd, my God is with me to face together any circumstance. His faithful goodness and mercy are with me all the days of my life. See, this is a promise that is also in the New Testament. For example, in Matthew chapter 28, verse 20, the Gospel of Matthew concludes with this promise. And it says, I am with you always to the very end of the age. Apparently, when David wrote this song, it was near the end of his life. Things were not going well. Many believe it may have been the darkest hour of his life. Isn't that awesome? That such a beautiful psalm was written when a man of God was going through tough times, because it teaches us to praise and to trust God on any circumstances. Therefore, when you find yourself in need, say it. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When there is no rest or peace, say it. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. When you stumble in your spiritual life and can't get up, say it. He restores my soul. When you have not been walking faithfully in his ways, remember, he leads me in paths of righteousness. When you find yourself in the darkest hour of your life, confess it. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Thank you for watching, and may the Good Shepherd and King, Jesus Christ, be with you. God bless.